Good evening. In any ID, the process is same. Okay. Uh, what is required is first you create your main file, right? That is the main program where you are going to write whichever functions you want to call. Because many times in our course also you might have written many functions again and again. So in real world, when you start working in the industry, the functions which have already been written, these are not written again by other programmers. Uh, the the modules which are ready, just functions are called. So you need to include that header file only. So I will take a simple example, okay? And so that you understand the process. That process just it is not a tricky one. Okay, I will explain you to in a simplest way. So create, okay, I will talk about the code blocks ID. So create a new project. I think you can see everything. Create a project, then give some name. I'll give uh, as demo, multifile, right? So this is now a project. Project will consist of source files and header files, right? So this is our source file. Suppose I declare two variables here, int x, y. We will add two numbers and store addition of these two numbers in one more variable, that is a sum, right? So I will declare a variable as sum. Now, if I run this, I will take input enter number, and I will write sum is equal to sum of two. Now, okay, some function I have written, and I'm sending arguments at x and y, right? So in the earlier case, if you can recall, we were writing prototype of this function somewhere here, right? Like int sum of two num int comma int. So in this way we used to write, and after this here we used to write the function definition. So I will write first conventional way of writing this program. I will write sum of two numbers int p comma int q, and I'll write here return p plus q, right? So this is the way we have been writing programs in C language. But this is a single line program. But if you have written some function which performs a special task, you have the number of lines in that code are suppose 50, 100 lines of code. You have taken a lot of efforts to write that code, and that functionality is ready. Okay, the function is sturdy, uh, and there is no point in writing that function again sometimes in the future if you need that, right? So in that case, copy opening that code and copy paste that function code and again put that in your file, that is a wrong way of designing an application. So best way is to call that function, but you cannot call this function from this file. Okay, so best way is to modularize the whole program. Okay, so what I will do, I will create two modules, one for the header file, another for the source file. So I'll just look at here. I will go file new and I will create a file, right here, file. When you open this, there are templates. One is a header file, another is the C++ source file. Sorry. So I'll create first header file. You can follow any sequence. Create source file first and then header file. There is no problem. But when you create a header file, right, it will ask for the path. So put that header file in the same folder, right, and give the name. Suppose add. Okay, add as the uh, header file, right? So and it gives the, since you have chosen the header file as a template, it gives the extension as .h, right? So this is a header guard. You can see here, this is a header guard. This header guard is created automatically by the IDE. When you write program in the Linux environment where you and you're not using IDE in the Linux environment, then you need to create a header guard. Huh? So this is a header guard created automatically. What does it mean? I will let you know. And check these two boxes, debug and release. Obviously, when we write programs, we use debug mode, right? And we finish this. Now, this header file is created now. You can see here, now in this project, there is one folder called source where all source files are there. Source file means .c file. .c files are the files of which .obj is created. Okay. And there is another folder called header files where we have created the .h. Now here, in this header file, that header guard is created. This is called a header guard. Header guard. This is automatic name given by the header. Now I will explain you again what is that header guard. But between these two, this one and end of if, this whole is called a header guard. Between this, you are supposed to write the prototype of the function, right? So I will copy paste this directly, rather cut paste this, right? I will cut paste this and put it here. So this is now header file which contains prototype of the function, right? And I will create another file. Now here we now two files are there. So use this save everything so that both files are saved at a time. Go another create another file, okay, and select here C or C++ source file, right? And you can give any name or same name, depends upon you. Okay, so suppose add num.c. So this will be a .c file, right? So add num.c is a .c file. This is created in the sources file because it is going to contain the source code. So function definition we will cut paste here and put it in here, right? So see, independently these cannot run because it doesn't contain main function, right? Now all these are local variables. This is the local variable. This is the local variable. It is return type, and this is returning addition of two numbers. Now, uh, now this is a basic program now. Okay, you can create your own library. This is a creation of a library, right? If you want to put, suppose arithmetic operations, you can sum of two numbers. You can write one more function as subtraction of two numbers, or division of two numbers, or a remainder of two numbers, or whatever, multiplication, whatever. Okay. So according to the functionality, you will create that file. It may happen that this file can only contain one function, or it can contain multiple functions. Okay, but how do we organize in our day-to-day life files? Documents which are having same type, we put it in a single folder. Similarly, this source file will contain functions which are similar in nature. Okay, we will not put prime number in the same file of prime number function in the same file, factorial in the, we do not do that. Rather, we should not do that, because we cannot recognize them in the future, right? And then this add.date file is a header file. And now what is required is, if you compile this program, right, it cannot be, no, it will be compiled, but it will not be executed, right? Students give wrong answers. Can this program can be compiled? Yes, it can be compiled. Compiling is just conversion of source code into machine code. This file doesn't contain function definitions, so whether program can be compiled. Your answer should be yes, it can be compiled. The problem will be, it the program cannot be executed. Why? It will, because what happens in fact, the compiler doesn't search for a function definition of this at the compilation time. No, this problem will crop up when you execute. That means before execution, linking takes place, and at the time of linking, it will search for source code of, or rather, function definition of this function, and here it will not find that, because there is no function definition, at least in this file. So here I will add this file now. I will write hash include add dot h, right? I will save the complete folder, right? So in the main file, you are adding this file. Now when you compile and then execute this program, before execution, linking takes place, and this is linked along with main.c. Okay, so addnum.c, the addnum.obj will be created, main.c, main.obj will be created, and linker will link these two files, so that when you execute this program, this since this add.h has been added, it can find where that dot obj is there, where that function definition is there. So when you compile this program, okay, it will give output as sum is equal to 9. All right. So this is how multi-file programming is done. Now the question is, what is the include guards? Suppose you are creating one more file, right? And related with the .c file. Now in that another header file, suppose you are adding this header file in that. Okay, suppose there is a file called subtract. Now for subtraction, this is not going to work. But just imagine there is one more header file you are creating in this project, and in that header file you are adding this .h. Okay, so there is a one temp, suppose temp.c, in temp.h, in that temp.h you are adding add.h, right? And when when in the main c, when you add both header files, add.h as well as temp.h, what is going to happen? The add.h will add this file, right? And in the main.c, you are going to write, suppose add, no, sorry, add hash include, suppose that temp.h, right? the file which we have not written that, but suppose you had, and in that temp.h, suppose you have added add.h, what will happen? It will be a recursive kind of process. So it will again add .h, again it will add temp.h. So some kind of recursive things will happen, and this code will be added multiple times. Okay, so first time this add.h is added here. Okay, this include guard will because see, when you add this file, okay, what is going to happen? This will be added. This will be added here. Okay, since this is a pre-processed directive, okay, it is as good as this will be replaced by this, right? But not only this, it will be replaced like this. It will be replaced like this. Okay. So what will happen when you add temp.h file? And in temp.h file, there is a hash include add.h, right? And you have included this file now, right? Temp.h. Now add.h will be added again because you have included temp.h. Now, while including contents of temp.h, that temp.h will contain this file, right? Now, I mean, all these contents will be added there in temp.h, but these contents will not be replicated here in main.c. Why? Because we have written this include guard. What does this include guard says? If not defined at dot, if not defined. Now, when first time this is included, this has been defined, right? This has been defined. Okay, so this works only when not defined. When first time this is added, this has been defined. So next time when you add this file, this will not be added again. So that is the use of the include guard. Write it on your own and add some of the functionalities, add some of the header files, and add some more this thing. What? Function definitions in a separate file and write it. Okay, I'll give you one more hint. Last time we wrote the program uh, circle and I think rectangle, right? Now do one more, add one more file, .h file as sphere.h, right? The shape.h we have written, okay, but add one more header file as the sphere.h, and inside that write prototype of calculation of volume and surface area of a sphere. Okay, two function prototypes would be there. And if you can recall the .c file of that, the function definition of header file, function definition of sphere volume and sphere surface area, you are going to write separately. And while writing those function definitions, you again need a value of pi, right? So now there you cannot use that symbol pi, right? Because pi you have defined in that's shape.h. In the shape.h, you have defined that pi value. So what you will do in that sphere.h or sphere.c, you will add these the shape.h again you will add, because why? You need uh, the hash defined value of pi there, right? You will read that. And when you add that those files again your main function, multiple definitions might be added, which will be prevented by include guard. Got that? Include guard of header file. Right. So it was some review about the multiple file programming. Today I will take command line arguments, most ignored part. Let's start from the basics. Many times in the function chapter, I have told you that main is also a function, right? Main is also a function, special function. That's it, because it is the function which is called uh, by operating system. But except the name main, that is main, the rest of the things are same. Uh, if we compare that main function along with other function definitions, if you compare this function along with this function, there is no difference. Name of the function is there. Name of the function is there. It has got int return type. This has got int return type. I mean some kind of return type. This is followed by opening closing curly braces. Main is followed by opening and closing curly braces. This has got body. Main has got body. What is the difference? What is the difference? Actually, difference is not there. Only this is the only difference. This is the starting point of program execution. Only difference. You may say that sir, there is one more difference. This function is taking arguments, and this function is not taking arguments. But my friends, this function also takes arguments, right? This function also takes arguments. Main function, like other functions, can take arguments. And there is a need many times. If you are calling main function from the command prompt, or if you want to send arguments to the function, if you want externally, you can send arguments to the main function as well, and that is the basis of command line arguments, right? uh, I will show you something, right? uh, this is for your only understanding, huh? Only understanding. This may not be literally like this. I hope you can see the command prompt. So this is a C drive, right? This is my understanding of how command prompt is important, how commands from the command prompt works. And first of all, Linux and Unix itself is whole command prompt language. Okay, everything is done from the command prompt. Unix. Okay, as far as Unix is concerned, there is no graphical user interface. Everything is done from, and all major uh, servers in this world are Unix based servers. These are not Windows based servers, my friends. All powerful servers in the world are Unix based, which are run, which are managed, which are controlled from the shell command, using the shell commands. Shell commands means, as far as DOS is concerned, we call it as a DOS prompt. But in case of Unix, we call it as a shell. I don't know whether you have heard this or not, but it is called a shell, and these are called shell commands. Okay, a lot of shells are there. Bash shell is there. Then other one more. Bond shell is there. Okay, so different shells are there. Shell is like this. Whatever you are seeing right now is like a shell. Shell is like this only. So here we give the commands like dir, right? So it gives the list of directory, right? Dir. Suppose I give dir uh, slash p, right? So it gives listing per page, okay? Because in earlier case it's browse through all, okay? But now listing is giving you per page, right? So per page you are giving, and it is giving message press any key to continue. So when I press any key, it gives the next. Again press any key to continue. Next. So likewise. So these features are there. Now, I don't have any software like this, but suppose there is some software like uh, Bank Soft. Suppose now this will not run because here mm, software is not there. Okay, I'm just assuming that Bank Soft is a software there. Okay, and I want to run this software, and I want to send some arguments to this Banksoft software from here only. So I will like Banksoft and some command as suppose Ajay and 200, so 2000. Okay. Now you may not understand what is this, but see, we can you can imagine rather, because this is for everything what I'm telling is for understanding. So there is a Banksoft main function, right? Inside that main, rather a file, okay. Banksoft is a C program which contains main function, and that main function is going to take arguments, right? First argument is Ajay, second argument is 2000. And inside that main function, you are storing that Ajay in some string, and you are storing that 2000 in some, suppose 2000 is to be added to amount 2000 is to be added to that saving account and update that account. Some kind of facility is supposed there. So in that case, I'm sending arguments from the command prompt, right? We are going to do this. I'm going to show it. How does it work, right? I'll press here exit, right? So main function does also take argument, okay? So what are command line arguments? Arguments sent from the command line. That's why command line arguments, okay? Or command arguments sent from command prompt, right? Now, what are these types of arguments? Okay, that is very important. Uh, they usually ask you in the interviews or a viva. So arguments are an array of pointers to strings. So the arguments to the main functions are array of pointers to strings. I will explain this. The standard arguments are argv and arg. Sorry, I have made a mistake. Argc and argv. Okay, argc and argv. These are standard arguments. So one program I will write directly, and I will clarify all these concepts. Okay. So this is the typical definition of main function. So that's why the students do not know. They read some book or read something on the internet. And they tell that it takes argc and argv as an arguments. Partially it is correct, but this answer reflects that you don't know command line arguments, right? So first argument is integer and second argument is array of pointers to strings. That is basically the correct answer. First argument is integer and second argument is array of pointers to strings. You may not understand. Okay, I will explain you. Don't worry. Right. These arguments can be processed inside the main function. Just 4 slide chapter. Okay. More important is practical what I am going to show you. Okay. But these arguments can be processed inside main function. Right. Okay. So just focus on this. I will explain this by writing the program. Right. Fine. command line arguments. Okay, right. I will write file name as project as cmd line 01. Okay, I give 01 only because we don't know. I might have to create another file, and so I'll give cmd line 02. Right. Now I will write the command line arguments here. Right. Int. I will write the same, which is convention first. Int argc char star argv, like this. This is basically a standard format of um, main function taking arguments. Standard format. Okay. For example, if I in some IDEs, it is automatically given. Okay. Some IDEs are there, like Dev C++. When you create a file, right? Sorry. When you create a project, okay, console application, C project, right? And I give less, suppose CMD line, okay, where I can create that. Suppose I create it in C program, suppose, right? CMD line, different folder. Can you see this? This is a template given by the this thing. What? Dev C++. So a few IDs give you a ready-made. Not necessary each time you write it, arguments have to be passed. Not necessary, right? It is not necessary. So each program you can write in that fashion. Normal program, the function, the program which is not taking any argument, rather a main function which is not taking any arguments, because see, arguments are passed, but you are not using them. That's it. Okay. When you run the program, arguments are passed for sure, right? Now, this is a typical format which I have written in the code block. Int argc, somewhere you may find like this, so that you are not confused. Okay, it can be like this. It is sorry. It can be like this. It is the one and the same thing in char star argv and uh, pair of array pair of square brackets or char star argv. It is one and the same thing, right? You may not understand, but sometime I'll explain you everything, right? So this is what main function gives you ready-made template, right? Okay. Now here we are. Now suppose uh, I try to print something here. Okay, I'll write percent d. I write here argc because it is integer. Let's explore that. What is printed? Right. One is getting printed, right? That means arguments is getting passed to the main function, and that is one. Okay. Let's play along with this program. This is how you can understand. I can teach you in a conventional way, the way they teach you in the class, in your college or class. But that is not, no, you will not understand anything. Uh, I will try to print argv, right? Since it is a string, it will print something. No, otherwise it will give an error. I don't know. This way I keep experimenting. This way I am teaching you first time. In the past I have never taught like this. Okay. No, it is printing something junk value, right? It is printing something junk value. So since it is an uh, array of pointers to strings, so that's why it is printing junk. I'll attach star to that, right? So what does it print? Do you see the magic? It gives the full path of CMD line, your file, full path. All right, it gives the full path. Now, so what conclude? What we can conclude? We can conclude as of now that even though we are not entering anything, we are not storing anything, we have not declared any variables inside main function, something is getting printed. It means main function is taking arguments, though you are not sending, right? Though you are not sending, because argc printed one and argv printed the full path. So it is doing something. It is taking something, right? Okay. So suppose I declare here one counter variable, right? I write one loop for I equal to 0, I less than or equal to argc, right? And I plus plus. I write here printf percent %s and I write argv of I, right? I will run this. Now, what does it meaning of this? Argc argc stands for argument counter and argv is argument values, right? So what does the main function take? Main function takes two arguments. First argument contains how many arguments are being sent, that is stored in the argument counter automatically, right? And argv, whatever the values you have sent, whatever the values you have sent, the argv contains pointer to all arguments, array of pointer. Okay? First, I will run this program. So what does it print? It prints the whole string, but it is returning null, right? Only because yeah, now it didn't return null. Okay, so it is printing this, right? But still, slowly we are trying to understand. I think so. I hope so, right? That I'm quite sure. Now, mm, I will. I will not. I will not run the program. I will build the program. Okay, I build the program. Build the program means executable is created now. Executable is created, right? Now, uh, there is an option in the project, right? There is an option in project, and there is in each IDE there is a command line arguments option. So I'm clicking the set programs arguments, right? Debug release, right? And sending here commands arguments. Okay. So I'm saying arguments as suppose uh, Delhi, uh, Mumbai, mm, and what? Uh, Kolhapur, Pune, Calcutta. I don't know. I don't remember spelling. Calcutta. Like this. No. Then what? Bangalore. Okay. Some cities I have written. Okay. And I say okay. So I have set those arguments. Now I will write here one statement. Printf students in this batch are from, right? You put here slash n, right? I will run the program and I will execute the program. Uh, what is the problem? It is getting printed. Delhi, Mumbai, Kolhapur, Pune, Kolkata. Why slash is not working? Should work. Okay. Got this? Students in this batch are from. Okay. I'll put here slash n. Okay. Students in this batch are from. Are not from this definitely, but are definitely from these cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Kolhapur, Pune, Kolkata, Bangalore. So can you see? I'm running the program. I'm not entering anything. I'm not entering anything, but it is giving you output. That means these arguments which are set in the program's arguments, these are being sent to the main function. Now, how these are sent, I will explain you. How these are sent, I will explain you. Okay. Let's try to run this program from the. I will remove this. Okay, because since these are command line arguments, we will try to run this program from the command prompt. Okay, so how to go to the command? CMD, right? CD, what is that? C program, CD, DIR. Yeah, CDC star. So C batch evening. I'm going to the current folder, right? The project where you have created. CD, what is that? CDC programs, right? I hope you have worked little bit. Shivaji must have worked definitely. I'm quite sure on the command prompt. So CD, which folder? cd c command line, right? So we are into this folder. So there is a, I'll type the dir. So these many files are there, right? There is a folder cd cmd line 01. Okay, dir. So there are files, right? So you can see here. You can see here. These are directories automatically created. One is a dot, another is a dot dot, right? This is a root directory, and this is a parent directory, right? A lot of things are to learn. I mean, I have to talk again for 15-20 minutes here, but leave it now. Okay, that is the past. Now there is a bin. Okay, this is your project directory, project file. This is the dependency. You included some files. This is the main.c, right? I mean, main.c can be opened here, right? If I write edit main.c, I can edit here. No, no, DOS command doesn't work. Yeah, okay, really? I don't know. Okay, earlier it was to work, edit command. Okay. Now there is a bin folder. So our executable file is stored in the bin. This is the obj file directory, right? All objs will be here. If you can watch it, let's watch it. cd obj, right? dir. So debug is there. Inside debug, you will find that dir. For that main.o is there, right? But which is of no use, right? Which is, yeah, when you write the cd dot dot, I told you no parent directory, so you are telling cd dot dot, go to the parent directory. That is how cd works, chain directory. Okay, you will all need this uh, everywhere, Java, Python, everywhere, right? So cd dot dot, go to the one folder up, right? So cmd line we are there. Again we will press the dir. So we'll go to the cd bin where our executable file is stored by the compiler, right? Rather IDE. I will press here dir. There is one more again debug. You will find here that executable file, right? cmd line 01.e. This is the file. See the size of this file. 70,000. This is what actually I wanted to show you in the last chapter, preprocessor directives, right? So see the size of executable file, 70,881, almost 80,000 bytes. What is the size of main.c? 306. 306 bytes. And what is that? 70,881 bytes. See how much, why the file size is increased? Why the file size is increased? The file size is increased only because of preprocessor derivatives. All the files have been added, as well as the files have been linked. That printf, scanf, whatever files are required, whatever the function, all files are linked to this. That's why size of this is too much. And now I can run this program from here. cmd line, just name of the file 01, and I can send arguments from here, right? So suppose Delhi, Mumbai, you can send as many arguments as you want. As many arguments. Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, right? Mirat, right? Then Chennai, Calcutta, right? Kolhapur, and we are sending the argument to the main function, right? So it will be printed, right? The first argument is CMD line, and Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, all these are printed. So that means you are sending arguments to main function from the command line. So this is always the first argument is like this CMD line. So what happens is this this is an array of strings. This is an array of strings. I will show here what happens now. This is CMD line, right? 01. Argument number 1. This is Delhi. Right? I'm showing everything on the RAM. Mumbai, Chennai. This is everything on the RAM, and strings are stored. I mean, anywhere in the RAM, right? Rather data segment, rather stack. Chennai, Bangalore, right? And there is each has got unique address. Suppose like this. Anything. Right? It is like this. And there is an array. There is an array of pointers, right? And it contains pointers. It contains addresses of all strings in the sequence you have written. So now this will contain 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. This will contain 8, 5, 4, 7, 5. This will contain 1, 4, 7, 5, 2. And this contains 8, 5, 9, 6, 4. Right? And this will be having its own address. Suppose something, right? It can be something. It can be something, right? And there is a one more pointer, huh? Whose name is argv, right? And this contains 6, 5, 7, 4, 8. this. Okay. So this points here, right? And this points here. Isn't it completely dependent on the understanding of pointers? This points here. No, this points here. Delhi. This points here. This points here. And this point. That's why we call it is an array of pointers to string. We call it as. So this is an array. Okay. This is an array of pointers. Which pointers? Pointers to string. String stored at different addresses. Right? This is ARGV, what your argument. Okay. So ARGV of where what you have written? ARGV of I, ARGV of 0. What is ARGV of 0? This. Right? So it will go and print this. That is the reason. That is the reason if you write here 1, okay, then it will start printing whatever arguments you have sent. Okay, in that order. And you can send an arguments to that. Right? For example, if I close this and suppose I want to add few numbers. Okay. Few numbers. Okay. I'll write here argument as int argc char star argb. Right. I'll show you program is all about. Simple program. Addition of integers. Okay. Send from the command prompt. I will add numbers from the command prompt. I'll send arguments. Okay. Likewise, you were sending addition function we have written, right? And we were sending arguments to the addition function. But here, I will send integers from the command prompts, and main function will make addition of that. Okay. So I'll write one as a counter variable. For I'll declare some variable as a int, suppose total, right? Initialize to 0. For I told you it's 0th argument. It is an array of strings. So 0th argument is name of the file. Okay, name of the executable file. After that, I'm going to send numbers. So I will initialize to 1. That is the first argument. I less than or equal to argc I plus plus, right? I'll write here total is equal to total plus. Now ARGV is pointing to that. I mean, ARG is an array of pointers to strings, but you are sending integers. You are sending integers. Now, integer, you are sending integer, but integer is actually basically it is taken as a string. If you enter 25, 20 will be stored as a string at that because it is array of pointers to strings. 25 will be string. You are sending integer, but it is taking as a string. So there is one function called a to I in C. A to I, right? ASCII to integer, right? It converts ASCII to integer, right? A to I. What I will say ARGV, right? Of I, right? And I will write total is equal to enter sum of all uh, integers question mark percent d. I will write total, right? Now if I run this program, some junk value will be printed because we are not sending any arguments, right? So if I run, it will be executed, but it will be sum of all integers is zero. Okay, because it is zero. Zero is initialized to no, it's initialized to zero, right? Now I will send arguments from the command prompt. I will not go to the DOS prompt. In the here only I will send. So I will send arguments as 52, 45, 78. No, I will let simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? I'm sending 4 arguments. Okay. If I run this code now, it will give sum of all integers 50. Right? If I change the arguments, 6, 7, any argument suppose 12, 45, 78, 96, 57. You can send as many arguments as you want. Okay. Compile, run. You'll get 450. Why it is 450? How it is executed? Okay. Let's check that program for the simple arguments like earlier one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Right? Run this. It gives you output as 15. Let's check how why you are getting 15. Okay. Because see here, we have to at a time you need to focus on 3 screens. Okay. First of all, ARGV is an array of pointers to strings. So this is the one is stored in one string, two is stored in another string, three is stored in another third string. Disperse manner. Four is a string, five is a string. Now, when you run the code, okay, this is an array, and this one is stored at the position one, not zeroth. At the zeroth position, name of the file is stored. Name of the file is that is also a part of the string. Okay, argument sent to the from the command prompt. So that is the reason we have this is a one. That is the reason we are given as a one here, right? Now when a to I, ASCII to integer, ARGV, this I is a 1, not 0. I is a 1. And at that position 1, okay, like this. Here it is now 1. For example, here it is 1 in string format. Here it is 2, right? Here it is 3. Here it is 4. And one more is there. One more is there. I'll remove this. What happens? This 1 will be converted into ASCII to integer, right? And to be stored, added in the total variable. Then 2 will be added into that, 3 will be added into that, 4 will be added into that. And the last, when all arguments are over, okay, it will print the addition of the number. So that is how we are adding uh, numbers from the command line arguments, right? This is just to show you, okay, how command line arguments work and how command line arguments can be processed inside main function. Okay, when we will start the file copy program, we will write a file copy program in file handling chapter. Command lines arguments are the no. This is going to help you. Okay, this knowledge will help you there. That is the reason I have taken command line argument before file handling. File handling intentionally I am putting in the last chapter, right?